So in this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about my story of how I built a multi-million-dollar fitness business from a shed in my garden. And I'm going to repeat that. I built a multi-million-dollar, 8-figure fitness business from a shed in the end of my garden in Surrey in the UK. If you don't know who I am, my name is Charlie Johnson. I run CJ Coaching and 7-figure scaling systems. We've helped transform over 8,000 fitness clients' lives, and we've also helped over 500 trainers scale their business, with over 6 of them in the last couple of months hitting the first 6-figure months. Now, the reality is, in terms of my journey, in terms of the fitness industry, isn't particularly conventional. I originally was a real estate agent, or estate agent for people in the UK. I then realised what was happening with social media, and I took the plunge and seized action and implemented very quickly, because I saw the golden window of opportunity was happening, and I was in a position where I was very fortunate in 2017, 2018, where I had a very good career. And I mean a good career for what most people would want. I was making maybe $100,000 a month, $100,000 a year as a estate agent managing a very successful branch, but I was unfulfilled. I was also a prisoner because I didn't have time freedom, I didn't have location freedom, I didn't have financial freedom. I couldn't do what I want, when I want, with who I want. So I took a risk. Or did I? Because the real risk would have actually been not taking the risk, not taking the jump. And this is what I say to anyone who's in this position right now, who's thinking about making a big decision, is if you're looking to leave a job, for example, to go and create the business of your dreams, what could actually go wrong? Because for me, for example, if it didn't work, what would happen? I'd end up back as an estate agent again. So I'm back to square one. If it does work, I get to live the life of my dreams.
Quick interjection into the podcast. If you're an online coach who's looking to scale the business, get their first 5K month, 10K month, or even get to 50 to 100K a month, we have helped hundreds of trainers do this at this point, and I've personally generated over $14 million online in the fitness industry. We have a proven methodology that works, provided you're willing to do the work. Now, if you want to book in a free business audit, we'll break down exactly where you are now, where you want to go, and what's currently holding you back. Hit the link below this video and below the podcast to find exactly how we can help you. Pick a time and we will walk you through the process of where your business is at and what exponential growth looks like. Now, back to the podcast.
Currently in a multi-million-dollar house in Las Vegas, United States. One of the big things I always wanted to do was travel the world, and I have the ability to do that. I'm here in Vegas because I'm getting a award at ClickFunnels from Russell Brunson. I just had photos on stage with him getting the 2 Comma Club X award. I was also at Alex Hormozzi's acquisition.com workshop. I'm now working with him and his team to scale my businesses and to help have more impact in the fitness industry, to help people have the same success I've had. And this all came about because I took the jump, took the leap, and I built this business in a shed. And this is why I want to share this story with you guys, because the reality is where you are right now doesn't matter. It's where you're going. What's the vision of what you want? Like, where is it you want to be? What do you want your life to look like? Do you want to travel around the world? Do you want to have monumental impact? Do you want to be fucking Mr. Worldwide, where you go to these events all over the world, you have events all over the world, you have clients all over the world? What do you want? Do you want to play small? Do you want to play big? Do you want to have impact? Do you want people to remember your name? Do you want to have a legacy? Do you want to be good? Do you want to be great? Or do you want to be the GOAT? Like, what is it you want? And being very clearly defined with that. And then 3 questions I would ask off the back of that. What do you want? What are you willing to sacrifice? And how hard are you willing to work? Because the reality is, the bigger the goal, the bigger the sacrifices, and the more work you're going to have to put in. Now, for me, I was willing to pay the price. I realized the bigger the goals, the bigger the problems I solve, the bigger the pain I'd probably have to go to get there. And the reality is, it doesn't have to be as hard as it has been for me. I've made a lot of big mistakes. I've probably had every cock up under the sun. I've had bank accounts frozen with £150,000 in them for 6 months. I've had multiple payment processes shut down. I've had emails say, "You're fucked, your business is going to be closed." I've had my Instagram account disabled 7 times. I've been called XYZ under the sun on social media, as anyone who's been successful has done. And the reality is that one thing I say to anyone is, you want to show proof over promises. My whole thing is I'm radically transparent of what I've done over the last few years. I've documented my entire life, and that has been from day one. If you go back to my YouTube channel, Charlie Johnson Fitness, CJ Transformations on YouTube, and you look at my old Instagram content, you can see me filming videos in my shed. And the reality is, I built that business by grinding my fucking arse off and being willing to pay the price to do what it takes. And I remember distinctly walking down the garden to my shed, which had no heating, and like falling over and sliding in the rain in my slippers. And I'd sit in there and I'd have a radiator between my legs. I'd put a woolly hat on and I'd be freezing my butt off with a ski jacket on, building funnels, running ads, learning. And this is the most powerful thing you have right now, is time. I'm currently 35. I didn't really start pushing my business until I was 30, really. And the reality is, for you, if you're younger than that, the most valuable thing you have is that. And you've also got people you can learn from who've done the thing you want to do. When I first started out, there wasn't really anyone who had crushed it online, and there wasn't really a path to follow. And my goal has been to blaze the path that people behind me can follow and know, like, okay, that's what Charlie did, this is how you can do it, and set a model that can be done. And that's how you have the ability to not just transform your clients' lives, but your clients' families' lives, your clients' children's lives, but also you can be the one who creates generational freedom. You can be the one who changes the entire generations of your family by being successful. So if you aren't from a successful background, you have the ability to do that by making the simple decisions of taking action, being consistent, and focus on getting the 3 R's. The 3 R's are being relentless, being resilient, and also being resourceful. And I actually say being resourceful is one of the most important things. One of the most profound things Alex Hormozy said to me recently is look at your business as an investor. Your ability to allocate your resources is one of the most powerful tools you have. If you look at anyone who is self-made, they have the exact same thing you have right now. Diddly squat. They had time, but they allocated their resources of their time effectively. They focused on fixing the right problem. They found the right people. When they had money, they allocated that correctly. And that's essentially all you have to do to be successful, is focus on the allocation of resources and doing the right thing. And this is one of the things I say to people we help in 7-figure scaling systems, my one-to-one coaching clients, is it's not what we tell you to do that's important, it's what we tell you not to do. Because you can make one big setback that can set you back 6 months, 12 months, cost you astronomical amounts of money. And I've had something that I've done the last 6 to 9 months in our team that I reckon has probably cost me anywhere between $700,000 to maybe $1 million in terms of potential lost revenue, where things have not been as optimal as they could have been. But I'm more excited than I have ever been in business. Why? Because now I realize the problem and the mistake I've made, and I know how to fix it. And if you have anxiety and overwhelm, I will explain to you why. Anxiety is when you have multiple options and you don't know what to do. Certainty is when you know exactly what you have to do and how to do it. And if you feel overwhelmed in your business, good. If you feel stressed in your business, good. Because the reality is, if you don't, you're not actually trying, you're not growing. Because if it was easy and everything is comfortable, you wouldn't be growing, right? You don't grow in your comfort zones. If you know everything that you're currently doing right now, you know how to do it inside out, you're not learning new skills. You're not trying to do new things. You're not trying to improve. So the most important thing you actually have to do to be successful as an entrepreneur and in business is your ability to eat shit for a long period of time and be uncomfortable, which is where the second R comes in, of the resilience, because your ability to have a high amount of stress tolerance is incredibly important. And this is where you talk about like someone like Elon Musk. He talks about like running his businesses is like chewing glass and getting kicked in the balls essentially every single day because of the amount of stress and problems he has. And the reality is, if you want a big life, you have to have the ability to deal with big problems. And I think this is why entrepreneurs and people who are successful have a huge amount of respect for other people who are successful, but they also have a huge amount of respect for people who are driven and want to do the thing. And you can see how driven someone is by the urgency they have. How quickly do you implement something? How quickly do you execute on something? And when we hire a team member, this is one of the key things I look for. Are they driven? How quickly do they implement things? If I say do X, Y, Z, it will make you money, it'll make you commission, it'll get you leads. How long does it take them to do that? Because one of the most profound things you can understand is success loves speed. Speed is a superpower in business, and when you implement quickly, you have an unfair advantage. This is where small businesses can beat big businesses. This is where you as a solopreneur can fucking crush if you pull your finger out. If you're willing to work in the shed and get up at 4 a.m. and do the hard stuff, you're willing to learn the skills, and you're willing to not be lazy and pawn things off. Because one of the reasons I see a lot of people, they get to the most dangerous thing you can have in your life and in your business, and which is where you will stay stuck forever, is the comfort zone. And this is why so many coaches stay stuck at around 10k a month, because you have enough to have quote unquote freedom. You're not staying in multi-million-dollar houses in Las Vegas with infinity pools and all this crazy shit behind me, but you have freedom. You might be able to fly economy here and stay in a cheap Airbnb, but is that really the life you want? Can you have monumental generational impact on your families? Can you have monumental impact on your clients, being able to scale your business and your message? No. So you're actually being selfish. And this is where the most important thing for you to understand is, it's not about the money. It's about the product. It's about you building the business. And in terms of you building the business, it's the person you become in the process that's the fun part. Because you will get to the point where the money no longer matters, and you realize the reason you are successful is because you just enjoy the process. And the fun is in playing with the big red shiny toy of the business and the game of it, rather than the result at the end. And when you fall in love with the process, the price then becomes the byproduct. And it's the same as your clients in their fitness journey. When they focus on the process every day, the price becomes inevitable. And this is exactly how you need to think if you want to crush it in your business and your life, and you have that clear vision of what you want. And with that comes number 3, is being relentless. Because the only reason you will ever quit, and the only reason you will never get what you want, is if you stop. And the reason I have been successful is because I will not stop. I will stop when I die. And I love the album, ironically, which I embarrassingly want to say I had a poster of 50 Cent on my wall of when I was 16 years old, which was Get Rich or Die Trying. Get successful or die trying. Like, all in. And I think you have to understand the difference of someone who's 80% versus someone who's 100%. The extra 10-20% is like a 50x force multiplier. And the people who are the best at what they do and get the biggest amount of rewards are the people who put the extra 5-10% in. So if you're not seeing success right now in your business, I ask you these couple of questions. Are you really giving it 100%? If I looked at your calendar, I looked at your bank account, like where you're spending your money, you're investing in mentors, you're investing in learning, and I looked at your YouTube watch history, what does it tell you about me, about you? If I looked at my calendar, it's like learning, filming content, working out and teaching clients, learning, pretty much it. If I look at my YouTube history, it's like educational podcasts, learning stuff. If I look at my bank balance, the biggest expenses that I have are going to be my business, mentors, Facebook ads. I don't really spend a huge amount other than that, maybe nice places to stay. And the reality is for you to understand that the reflection of where your life will be in 3 to 5 years' time is very much dependent on those 3 things. And if you're not in the position you want to be in right now, it's because you're not allocating those resources of time, money in the correct buckets. And if you also do not know where to allocate those, that's a problem. Because there's 2 things that solve problems in life. 1 is money, and 2 is people. Because if you have the money, you can also pay the right person to solve the problem. And when you come to finding the right person, this is my honest, truthful advice from someone who's spent over $400,000 on mentorships, is find someone who's done the thing you want to do themselves personally, and then they've helped other people do it. Pay that person, they will collapse the time horizon down for you to get the exact results you want. And this is what I have been obsessed with over the last 7-8 years. This is why I keep gaining momentum and our business keeps growing faster and faster and faster. Because you also have something called the law of accumulation. The law of accumulation is as your skills compound, as your reputation compounds, as your business compounds, it gets easier and it gets faster, and this is the force multiplier effect. But the reality is you have to put the momentum into the system at the beginning. And that's where the hard work comes in. And this is where I go back to the story of in the shed. Probably at least a year where I was getting up eating dog shit at like 4 a.m. in the morning, working hard. I'd work from 4 to 8 a.m. in the morning, building websites, doing all this stuff, having no clue what I was doing and figuring it out. And the reality is people see the lifestyle I have now, the things I have now, but they don't see the hard work of what went into it in the backstory and the things I sacrificed. The nights I couldn't sleep, the stress I had, the paranoia, the not knowing how to deal with client complaints, all this stuff. And the reality is, if you're going through that right now, there's two things I'm going to say to you, whether your business is crushing or whether it's struggling. And this is actually what one of my fitness clients gave me some advice on, who's a billionaire. He said, when you're crushing it, this shall too pass. And when you're struggling, this shall too pass. Everything comes in seasons and cycles. And if you are crushing it right now, do not get this one thing, which is arrogance. And this is where you almost think you have the Midas touch. Like everything you touch, think turns to gold. The reality is this is the most dangerous point you can often be at, because you get cocky and you think you're untouchable. And I've had that happen to me many a time. I remember the biggest time that happened to me was November 2021. It's the first time I did over $300,000 in a single month in fitness coaching alone. And repeat that, over $300,000 in November 2021. And what did I start to get? Big-headed. What did I start to think? I'm Captain Big Shit. What then happened is my life fucking imploded about 2 months later. I ended up getting divorced, I ended up moving to Dubai. My Instagram account got disabled, which was like 80% of my revenue at the time, for 3 weeks. And that learnt me a lesson very hard. And it's where, try to think about this when things go wrong. These things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. And if you're not in the position you want to be in right now, just realize this is happening for you to make you better, to get to the next level. And this is one of the biggest things I help clients with, and we help clients with, is from a mindset perspective. Because business is incredibly difficult. And the most screwed up thing is it's the hardest at the beginning. And at the beginning, you have the least amount of resources, you have the least amount of context, the least amount of skills, and you have the weakest mindset. And this is the most difficult. But what you need to do is get escape velocity. And the more success you get, the easier it gets to some degree. You just have bigger problems to deal with. And my mission is to help trainers, coaches, and business owners just like you to slay the dragons that are going to come out of the cave, and even slay those dragons before they even fucking come out. Because I've slayed them, I know what's going to happen to you, and I know the things that are going to go wrong. And this is what we're doing in terms of the content we're putting out, and this is how we're helping people in 7-figure scaling systems. If you want help in terms of scaling your business using the proven methods I've used in my own business, then hit the link below this video. You can book in a free call to find out exactly how we can help you. We'll look at what you're doing now, what you should be doing, and exactly how we can help you if we feel you're a good fit. If you took some value and insight with this, share it with a friend, smash the like, and if you like these raw types of videos, please drop me a message on Instagram, give me some feedback, would mean the world, and I'll keep these coming out. Have a wonderful day, chase your dreams.